This is my SAVI
And
story.
this is my SAVI story.
This is my SAVI story. My dad was a Marine, and he still is. I know all Marines say, once a Marine, always a Marine. So he'll remind me of that. But just him taking me to work. Those hangars were amazing to see. If you watch the movie Independence Day, they're kind of in the backdrop with Will Smith. There's these huge hangars, and that's where they would store the helicopters, the CH-53s, and he was a mechanic on those huge helicopters. So my time, and as I was younger, I've always wanted to be a Marine and flying those huge helicopters. And I think that's where it all started. I've seen how much they got along together, how much camaraderie they had, and I always wanted, to kind of be a part of that. So even growing up, and all the way throughout my teenage years, it was something that still kind of stuck with me. So I enlisted right after high school. I went to community college in Temple, and decided maybe I needed to take another path. And in doing that, I was going to enlist in the Marine Corps, and I was going to try to become an MP, military police. And to do that, I'd have to wait another year because I didn't have any openings. So one day I just kind of, just got tired of sitting around, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go anyway. So I went to the recruiter's office, and we agreed that I was just going to go in open general. And it's not how it worked out at all. He was just a few minutes late, probably about like 10, 15, which was really uncharacteristic. He was always on time, very prompt. And the Air Force recruiter was sitting right across from him. So he kind of asked me, what are you waiting on? And I was like, I'm waiting on the recruiter to show up. So he's like, what are you trying to do? It's like, I'm trying to be a military police, but they don't have any openings. It's like, well, come into my office. We can talk about that. What, and it gave me a spiel. What if I could, guarantee that you would be in law enforcement? I was like, well, definitely, I would definitely sign it right now. So that's how my Air Force career started.
Just experience, for me, I was graduating high school. College really wasn't in the cards at the time, and I just really wanted some real life experience on my own. And I felt like the military was the best place for me to give me some structure, to give me some job training, to see the world. My first time actually going into a different time zone. Actually, my first time on an airplane was going to boot camp to Chicago. So yeah, it was just, I think when I was young, probably about my son's age, I got this book. I never forget. It was a book fair, and it was a book about all the major U.S. cities. So I studied that book. It's probably the first book I read, honestly, and I studied the skylines of all the cities. So it was always just a dream of mine to see the world, and the Navy always presented that opportunity to me over the rest of the services. When you look at the ships and just all the places where the Navy is stationed and where they have bases, it just seemed like a perfect fit for me. And I had an uncle that was in the Navy as well, and he really, gave me some guidance. I had a cousin that was actually in the Navy when I joined as well. And they just, really told me that they didn't regret one bit of joining the Navy and that I should take advantage of the opportunity. So I figured, why not? I'm still young. And I remember my cousin and actually my dad at the time saying, you're 17 now. You can retire at 37. And that's actually what I did. Yeah.
What made me want to join the military is that I actually, my grandfather was a World War II vet, and he always had a rifle, a classic rifle that he kept in his closet. And I was always so fascinated by seeing it. And, that era was obviously a very different era. And that kind of led me into a fascination with pinup, the classic look and just the morale that was inspired by a lot of the pinup girls. And so my senior year of high school, I knew that there was a lot of recruiters that were coming around to the high school and talking about the different branches of service. So I actually joined the delayed entry program as soon as I turned 17. Yes, I was a senior when I turned 17. And so I spent the entire last year of my high school time in the delayed entry program, going to monthly meetings and getting to talk to individuals that were coming back from basic training or tech school. And so they told me all of the amazing things about joining the military. And so I had more than enough time to prep for my high school graduation and then subsequently heading out about 2 weeks later.
So that's a great question, because I still wonder to this day what ended up bringing me to the service. I honestly wanted to be a firefighter, actually. Back in the 9/11 happened, I was in the 6th grade, and I remember, everyone sitting us down in the gymnasium and letting us know that something terrible had happened, to not only our country, but our state. And they wouldn't really explain why, they wouldn't explain what happened. And I remember taking my sister, who was also at the same school with me. She was in, I think, the 2nd grade. We took the city bus home because our parents couldn't come and pick us up, right? They had everyone in the gymnasium to have everyone's parents come. Ours couldn't. So I took my sister with me. And as we were taking the city bus back, we have this route that, goes parallel with the West Side River, right? That runs down to the city. And I remember very vividly seeing the sky with a lot of black smoke, in the distance. And again, didn't really know what was going on, but I could tell that something was up. Everyone was quiet. No one was really talking on the bus. And when I got home and I saw the news, I could tell, wow, like crazy. I think I got home right as the second tower was going down. And but they were constantly showing on the news, what had kind of transpired over the whole course of the half an hour. I think that everything kind of just went chaotic. And I remember in that moment feeling this surge. It was the very first surge I've felt in my life of wanting to do something, of feeling called to do something. And I felt like I wanted to be one of those firefighters running into that building, right, to go and save lives, or in the streets, right, as the falling pieces of the building were, coming down and raining on everybody. Like I wanted to be someone out there to go and save somebody. Right? I've always felt like I wanted to be a superhero in some way. But, as time kind of went on, I don't know, I guess I decided that maybe flying jets would be cool. And I had gone to a college convention where the Air Force Academy had a representative there talking. And someone at that conference or that seminar, whatever it was, told me that the Navy actually has more pilots than the Air Force. And so I'd have a better chance of becoming a pilot in the Navy. And someone told me about the Naval Academy in Maryland. I applied. I didn't quite get in right away, but at some point I ended up doing that. So that's kind of what brought me into the military. But I still wonder to this day what would have happened in my life if I become a firefighter. I don't really know what derailed me from that dream, but obviously 6th grade to the 12th grade is a very long time frame. So a lot of life happened in between. What can I say?
This is my SAVI story.
This is my SAVI story.
This is my SAVI story. Each side of my family, the majority of enlisted in the Navy, but only a few, enlisted outside of that. I think one of my grandfather's cousins was in World War II. He was in the Army. He was a paratrooper. And my father was a Marine. My dad's cousin was in the Air Force, and he was a drill instructor.